congratulations to Vanderbilt, Coach Corbin, their team, Mike Baxter, Brownie, David Macias. I know all those guys really well. Plus, their team is super good. You know, Rocker and Leiter really gave us fits, and the guys out of the bullpen, they were the better team out of 2 days. That being said, our guys poured everything onto the field that they had, and it just wasn't good enough, which that makes it hurt. And these 3 guys that are sitting next to me, 2 of them have been with me for 6 years, 1 for 5. And if we don't get a chance to go to Omaha, but I get an opportunity to coach these 3, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for the student athletes? Reminder, please use the raise hand feature. Ronnie, go ahead.
Matt, if you could just reflect on your career. I know it's tough. You can go back to Lubbock, and today you've pitched in some big-time moments with a lot of people watching. Just how do you kind of sum up, you know, your career as a whole, I guess?
To sum it up in a whole, I think is quite a lot. I don't really have a lot of words to do that. But I'll say one thing, coming to East Carolina was the best decision of my life. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Coach Godwin and he and the team and the program, man, they've taught me life lessons that I'll never forget. And you know, we've won some championships here. We haven't got to the promised land yet, but where we want to go. But man, it's coming, and I don't know when that's going to be. We say that all the time, but it's coming, and we're going to knock on that door every time until it happens. And I just can't thank Coach Godwin enough for giving me the opportunity to play here, and it's a special place, and it's about it. That's all I got right now.
Mark, you're muted.
Coach, it's been a quality group and a quality season all year long. Talk about what the difference is you feel like is between winning these games and getting over the hump and, you know, right now, where you're at right now.
First off, Mark, we're like that far, like millimeters. And this team, like I said before we played in the regional, will not be judged by going to the College World Series. If you want to be mad at somebody, then be mad at the head coach. I'm the leader of the organization, but not our young men, not the guys that have had a 3.69 team GPA. And I don't know everybody in the country's GPA, but I would say that's the best in the country. And what they do in the community, what they've done for East Carolina University, I don't care about Omaha. Not right now. I care about these young men that are hurting, that have poured their soul and sweat and tears into our program for 6 and 5 years, and the other guys too. They have given us everything and more, and we just weren't good enough. Life's not fair, and I don't know why we haven't gone. It's nothing that we're doing the right things. Our kids are doing the right things. We just haven't knocked the door down. But the percentages say if you keep knocking the door is going to open, and we're going to knock the door down at some point in time.
Steven.
Cam, how do you maybe compare and contrast when you first came in as a freshman in 2016 to now? I mean, you guys have obviously elevated the consistency of the program and where you guys are leaving it now. How would you kind of sum that up?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, just shout out to the coaches and the guys that played before us. You know, not just me and Matt and Schmitty, but, you know, the guys that, you know, the Chris Holbas, you know, and all those guys, there's a lot of them, but the guys that came before us and, you know, set the standard for, you know, what ECU baseball is. And, you know, since then, you know, we never looked back. And we always talk about leaving a legacy. We found it. And, you know, I think us 3 have done that. So.
Ronnie, go ahead.
Cam, for you as well, these games are so low scoring, and really it's probably the best ECU's ever pitched in a super regional from Gavin on down. I mean, how do you feel y'all just stepping up in this moment and really as a pitching staff as a whole kind of keeping the team in it both days?
Yeah, you know, I'm proud of us, you know, as a, you know, our staff. I'm proud of, you know, Coach Dietz, AK, everybody. But, our hitters have picked us up all year, and it was our turn to pick them up and give us a chance, and we did our best shot. So,
Steven.
Tyler, how tough was it in right field? It looked extremely emotional, and it might be a tough question to answer, but how do you kind of sum that up?
To be honest, right now I'm speechless. These past 5 years have been the best 5 years of my life, and I would do it all over again if I could. Just because these guys and the coaches for giving me the opportunity. I mean, I don't have much to say right now. I just love this place so much.
Let's go into questions for Coach Godwin. Reminder, please use the raise hand feature if you have a question for Coach. Ronnie, go ahead.
Cliff, if you go back just for a minute to Louisville, it was Detmers, Bobby Miller, the two starting pitchers here were all first-round picks. I mean, I know you say that the front door, the Omaha thing, I mean, it just kind of backs up how tough these matchups have been just in those 4 games alone. Can you just kind of comment and expand on that?
Yeah, you're not going to face anybody with a 5.5 ERA when you're in a super regional. It just is what it is. And, we went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the country. We just weren't quite as good as them. Like I said, Rocker and Leiter were just a little bit better than Gavin, Wiz, and Hunt in our bullpen, and their bullpen guys too. I mean, they were just a tick better. I think anybody watching at home knew that we were in every game. We just couldn't get a big hit. They got a big hit by Young today, 2 out of RBI. We just got 1 swing off, and that was the difference in the game.
Steven.
Coach, it looked like there were a few questionable calls at times from the home plate blue. I don't know how much you can talk about that, but just your emotions during the game watching that.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Coach Godwin can't talk about that. So I just would tell everybody to go back and watch the game. It's on video. So I know one thing. When Cam Colmore, who's a 6-year senior, says that the 3-1 pitch is right down the middle, I trust that guy. He's seen a lot of balls thrown. So, and it is what it is, man. You go on the road, and we've been on the road every time for a super regional except 0-1, and we weren't at our home field. We were just in Kinston. So it makes it more difficult to win on the road. I think it's 75%, 70% of the teams that host go to Omaha. That doesn't mean that you can't do it on the road. It's just I've always envisioned that we would do it at Clark LeClaire for our fans. And it is what it is. We came on the road, and we just weren't quite good enough.
Mark.
Could you kind of feel the home field advantage being on the road at a place like Vanderbilt where they're top 5 in the country at the moment, and they fresh off of a championship, that sort of thing? Talk about that, and was this thing kind of lost maybe before you ever got here as a result of not getting the home field advantage?
Absolutely not. Our guys poured their heart and soul into the field. It was not lost before we got here. The way Gavin Williams pitched yesterday against, a guy that's going to go in the top 5 picks, Leiter's going to go in the top 3 picks, supposedly. I'm not a scout, but the way our guys competed, absolutely not. Don't ever say that again. No offense that we had lost before we even started playing. Our guys poured their heart and soul into what these last 2 games were.
Let's go one more with Steven.
Coach, just talk a little bit about Wiz and Hunt's performance, if you will. He obviously pitched extremely well, and then the decision to go to Matt in the 5th inning.
Well, we had guys in the bullpen in the first inning. Look, if you don't win today, you go home. And we wanted to make sure that we went to our best bullpen guys, which we did. Bridgie was really good. I thought that everybody that we ran out there was really good. They just got, I think, 4 2-out RBIs, and we got 1 home run. So that was the difference in the game.
Coach Godwin, Cam, Matt, Tyler, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on a great season.